Game day in Cedar Falls as the Salukis try to bounce back on the road in a place where it's been really hard for the Dogs to win historically. Alongside the coach Rodney Watson, I am Luke Martin here with our Saluki radio preview for the game later on tonight from McLeod Center. Coach Watson, only 2 wins ever in the McLeod Center. It opened up in 2006, 2007. Those 2 wins were back-to-back under Coach Hinson's tenure, but that is it. Not much better even when you go to the Dome days, which you know very well about being a longtime assistant. How do you not make it a big deal?
Oh, you can't have the game determined before you start the game in your own locker room. So everything is tomorrow. That's the whole thing about when you're a competitor. It's okay, you can get a double bogey, triple bogey that I'm very familiar with. The next time on the tee box, you got to get that thing in the fairway somehow. And that's all you think about when you're a competitor or you're in a situation that Southern's in right now with the last 2 difficult losses. It's the next opportunity coming out and doing what you do best, and that's guarding, and Southern continues to guard well. They held Bradley, a team that was scoring in the mid-80s in the last couple of weeks every night out, held them to 70 points. Southern just came up a basket short. They did a much improved job, something that you and I have talked about, that you see in practice every single day, how much more time they're putting in on both the defensive boards and the offensive boards. And then they've got to also add the piece where they can get a bucket for the mismatch. And that's probably the one big missing piece right now, is putting other people than Xavier in positions when they get a certain mismatch, go to their go-to move.
It doesn't take much to recognize what Coach Jacobson has done at Northern Iowa. He's on the verge right now of being the all-time winningest coach ever in its league's history right now, tied with Coach Iba, of course, the long historic coach at Oklahoma State when they were back in the Missouri Valley Conference. But let's talk about his team this year. Bowen Bourne back. He's shown capability as well. They've scheduled tough this year for the Panthers. What are really the biggest strengths of this current UNI team under Coach Jacobson?
They have 3 guys that they know what they're getting with Bourne and Heisey and Anderson. 2 are skilled forwards. Heisey's coming off a year where he had to sit due to an injury, and he's been really anxious and very productive. Even when they struggled early in the season, but especially in the last 2 weeks, Heisey's been the name along with Bourne. Bourne has been when Bourne got hurt in the Banterra Center last year, it limited what he didn't play very many minutes, and therefore was a big factor in the game. But the names that really bug me when you look at UNI and you got to go against them, you can get caught up in those 3 guys for sure, and the way they guard and their pace. But they have some snipers by the name of Campbell, Duax, Pock, Wolf. Those guys all come in, and they are very high 3-point shooting percentage. They're guys that come in, and if you underguard them and overguard others or give too much long help, they're the ones that can really ruin your night in a small sample size, much like Birch did the other night, the freshman that came in, got a couple of buckets. But think about, in 1-2 possession games, every single possession counts.
Important one tonight, no question, for Southern Illinois, as they will go for their first win in Cedar Falls since 2019. You can take in the game tonight, later on television. It's actually on national television as well. CBS Sports Network, 7 o'clock tip. If you want to listen to our pregame coverage, it will start at 6 o'clock across the Saluki Radio Network. For Saluki Radio's coach, Rodney Watson, I am Luke Martin. We will talk to you later on tonight from Cedar Falls. Go Dogs.